Alright, welcome to another video. In this video I want to talk about something different. I want to talk about how to do research, and I want to kind of help people understand that the world that they live in is not the way that it seems to be. And I want to do that with a very basic and fundamental example. It's going to be an example about money. So I've done a lot of like trading, like buying and selling different commodities, buying and selling Bitcoin, buying and selling precious metals, um, and it's a really simple concept, but in theory it's extremely simple, but when it actually comes down to how these things work, it's actually a lot more complicated. And I sort of want to show people how to do research if they really want to find out how this stuff works, and I want to show people through data and concrete facts, um, how the world isn't what they think it is. So the way that I'm going to do that is by debunking a pretty big myth. And this myth is that precious metals are valuable because they're scarce, and that somehow scarcity of these metals directly correlates to their value. Um, and I'm not going to talk about paper money because that's absurd. What I'm going to talk about is something that people all over the world widely accept as concrete currency, concrete money, something that has value, something that you can take and sell it no matter what part of the world that you're in to just about anybody for a reasonable price, and they would be willing to accept it as payment for whatever good or service that you're willing to give them. And I'm not trying to say that you can go to a taxi driver and say, here's a bar of gold, drive me around the country. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, we as people, as societies, have accepted precious metals as valuable because they're scarce. And it's a very common misconception that people believe that because a thing is scarce, therefore it has value. And I'm going to prove that that theory is wrong. And in a way, I'm going to challenge the people watching this to do their own research and, one, prove me wrong, and two, if you can't prove me wrong, realize that the world that you live in is not what it seems to be. And I'm going to do it in a very simple way. I'm going to take something that everybody understands, money, and I'm going to explain it in a way that people won't take the time to try and understand it. So here's a list of gold producing countries. This is from Wikipedia. When you do research, it's important that you don't take all of your information from one source. This is an article about the biggest copper mines in the world, okay? Here's one about list of gold mines in Canada. And then there's all sorts of different websites that you can go to see the stock prices of different companies that buy and sell gold or silver. And you can accumulate sort of this data and break it down in a way that's easy to understand. I know I'm kind of bombarding you with like pictures and numbers, and it's really hard to keep track. But the point isn't that you memorize every number on the page. That's not the point. The point is something extremely simple, and I'm going to try and share it with you guys. Here's a list of largest gold companies. This is just the largest gold companies, okay? And it shows the reserves in millions of ounces, and it shows their production of gold in tons, and it shows the total resources, so like however much gold that they feel like is inside that mine, the total amount of it, and what the numbers are, and how much it costs, I guess. I don't know, cash costs per year. Yeah. Okay, so you are seeing this and you're starting to realize something, which is, why are they measuring in millions of ounces here, and then here they're measuring in metric tons, and then here, like if you look at copper, they're measuring in millions of tons. And then, you look at something else like, let's see, platinum, and they're measuring it in kilograms. So someone will argue that, oh, it's being mined in South Africa, so, we're measuring in kilograms. And most of the gold is being mined in Canada, so we're measuring in millions of ounces. It's just natural. It's the way we do it. We're Americans. We can do whatever we want. And that's true. We can. Sort of. But what I'm trying to illustrate is that it's extremely difficult for the basic person, like by basic person, I mean just the casual, like I'm gonna look at this and figure something out. It makes it difficult for those people to figure this whole thing out. And it does so by adding in like math equations. So now, in order for you to calculate, what the ratio is, for example, for gold to platinum, you have to do some math, and it's not hard. I'm not saying like, oh, it's too hard for people, they can't do it. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is just it's like a little barrier. If you were just doing this casually one day after you played a video game, it wouldn't you wouldn't complete this task like snapping your fingers and just looking at the charts. You couldn't. You'd have to open up another page and get conversions, and then you have to do another conversion, and then you gotta just do a little bit of research and look at different graphs and look at different charts, and you see all these flashing colors, and it's just really confusing. That's what I'm trying to illustrate, is it's really confusing for somebody who just basically wants an idea of why something's valuable and why something else isn't. So what I saw a graph that I don't have right now, but I saw it the other day, and some of the smallest gold mines in the world, and there's hundreds of them, there's hundreds of these gold mines, they have about 5 million ounces of gold in them. So these are the largest ones, but a lot of the really small ones have about 5 million ounces of gold. Now, that might not mean a lot right now, but here's something else that's extremely interesting. If we look up, let's say, for example, we go to eBay, which is my favorite place to buy stuff, even though I'm banned from eBay. you can, like, let's say I can look up 1 ounce of gold. Okay, so we're going to find a 1 ounce gold bar. Next, I'm going to go to eBay again, and I'm going to look up 1 ounce of platinum. Now eBay gives a pretty good representation of price, as you can see here, $1,166, $1,089. Okay. Now you might think to yourself, well, that makes sense. Gold is, about as valuable as platinum because they're like precious metals and people like them and blah 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 blah. Okay. Now here's where it starts to get interesting. It starts to get interesting when you look up how much gold production there is in the world. So there's gold production in 2014, just in 2014, okay, was 1,000 metric tons worldwide. And this is just from Wikipedia, rounded, and then this is the rest of the world. I don't even know what this means. This doesn't make any sense to me. It's like country, region, world. Okay, that's a country or a region, cool. And then the rest of the world is another country or a region. And I don't even know if this is like you're supposed to add these two together or minus them or what, but let's just say for the sake of making this easy, we're going to add it together. So 1,000 plus 695 equals that many metric tons. This is in 2014. We don't even know how much was mined this year, but we'll take that and let's just kind of go with it. This is the best I got right now. Okay, so that many metric tons. So now I'm going to convert metric tons into kilograms, right? So it's like times 1,000. So there's one. So these are metric tons. 1 metric ton equals 1,000 kilograms. So times 1,000 equals. So this would be the gold production in 2004 was equal to 1,695,000 kilograms. There was 1,695,000 kilograms of gold that was mined in 2015. Okay. Now look at something else that's very interesting. Wikipedia, I'm using the same source, says that in the world, okay, in 2014 there was 161,000 kilograms of platinum mined in the entire world. And most of this is coming from South Africa. So if you live in Africa, your country has an incredible amount of natural resources, and you guys are just like throwing it away because you're being at war. Anyways, it's a different talk for a different day. So, okay, here, let's do some more math. So that's 110,000 kilograms, okay? So there's this much platinum in the world in 2014 that was mined, and this much gold, okay? So brings up the question, if there was like I don't know, 16 times more gold that was mined in 2014 than platinum. Why the hell are they the same exact price, almost, right? Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that gold has a higher demand than platinum, right? More people want gold. Why? Because more people like it. It's cuter, it's shiny, it's like orange and goldish, and it's cool. We like it. Plus, everyone wears gold jewelry, and it's pretty, and it's pretty, and it's pretty. Anyways, um, but this sort of ties into supply and demand, okay? But the 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 variation is really, really dramatic, and I'll tell you why. Because as an investor, okay, when you look at these numbers, you start to see something very interesting. You start to realize that the scarcity of the metal does not directly impact the price, that it has more to do with the demand that's being propagated to in relation to that material that has the value. What does that mean? Well, we have this much gold, and yet it's the same price as this thing that's way rarer, which is platinum. And that would mean that you would have to have a lot more demand for gold. But why would you have a lot more demand for gold when platinum is like way more rare? From an investing standpoint, it makes no sense to have so much demand for this thing that's so rare and valuable, like platinum, and not, you know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And so you have to realize that these things that we think is like ingrained in stone, or like it's just the way of the world, that these precious metals have value because they're precious, and this value directly correlates to the quantity and ease of extracting them and how readily available they are and all this great stuff, which it does. But we live in a world where these systems are manipulated, like so incredibly manipulated, that something that's a lot more abundant, like gold, and mind you, there is more gold mines that's popping up every day around the world than there is platinum mines than will probably ever exist. Platinum is extremely scarce. It's like we've only just discovered it. There was a graph, like let me see if I can find that graph. We've only just sort of discovered platinum mining, okay? We've been mining it since like, I don't know what year it was, but let me see if I can find the article. So yeah, South Africa has the most, but when did we start mining this? There's a very interesting graph. It shows somewhere around like the 30s or 40s. I'm not exactly sure when it was. It was probably the 40s that we started to mine this stuff in South Africa. So, so platinum, we've only been mining it for like the last 60, 70 years. It hasn't been around that long, right? And it's being produced way less than gold. But why are they the same price? Yes, there's more demand for gold, but gold has been mined since like long, I don't even know when, like just like forever ago. Gold was being mined forever ago. So there's like, if you know what I mean, like if it's been mining forever, there's got to be a ton of it around, like a ton. And if you guys don't believe what I'm saying, like go look around, go check your grandma's like jewelry. She's got to have like a piece of gold somewhere. Your cousin or something has a piece of gold somewhere. The neighbor's got a piece of gold somewhere. How many people have you seen with platinum? They're the same exact price. Look, they're the same exact price right now. But people still buy gold because it's considered a precious metal and it's considered extremely rare. I mean, look at this. 4,102 sold, 410 sold. Like, from an investment standpoint, this is insanity. Like, when you look at something like this is pure insanity. And the reason is extremely simple. It's because people don't actually think. most people, they don't actually think. No one will sit there and do research like I'm doing right now to figure out, how much of this stuff is there in relation to how much of it there is in the world, in relation to how much of it people are willing to buy, in relation to the cost, in relation to the mining costs, in relation to the amount that the gold mines or platinum mines have, in relation to the demand. Like, no one does this. People just, they turn on the TV and they look at the news, and the news says gold prices have gone down, and so they're like, oh shit, maybe we won't buy as much, or gold prices are going up, and they go, oh yeah, let's buy some more. But no one actually sits there and does this research. No one, and by no one, I don't mean like no person in the world. I just mean like the masses, the typical population. They don't do this sort of research. They just kind of look around, they look at stores, they look at the TV, and then they just kind of take that and they go with it. But certain investors like me will actually sit there and will calculate these things. And if you've done some calculating, you realize that platinum is extremely rare, far more rare than gold. You realize that it's the same exact price. It's cheaper. I'm sorry, it's not the same exact price. It's way cheaper. It's like $100 cheaper almost than gold, and it's way, way more scarce. And that tells me something very interesting. That tells me that people, they don't buy with logic. They don't invest with logic. They don't look at the world with logic. They look at the world with what they see on the TV, with what they see with how their neighbor dresses and how much jewelry they're wearing and what color it is. And they look at the world in a very, very different way than I do. And if you're watching this and you want to disprove any of what I'm saying, or if you want to tell me that I'm just wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about, knock yourself out. But I've laid it out here, and you can argue that the demand for gold is way, way more than the demand for platinum, which is absolutely true. I never denied that. But from an investment standpoint, which is what this is, it's heavy metal, it's like precious metals. Like, you can turn this into jewelry, so it's cute. Yeah, you can do the exact same thing with this. You can use this, like, I don't know, to give it as a gift. Yeah, you can do the exact same thing with this. You can buy this. Oh, you can buy this too. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that people, for the most part, they don't think. They don't do the research like I'm showing you guys. They don't sit there and they don't calculate. They don't look at these graphs. They don't try and crunch the numbers and see what's actually going on. Most people don't, and for a long time I didn't either. And you know what? It's not easy. It's not hard, but it's definitely not easy. You got to do some extra steps and stuff to figure all this crap out. But it pays off, because now you realize that people are making the wrong investment. If you're investing in gold right now, I'm sorry, but you don't know what you're doing. It might go up in value, and that's great, but you have to realize that in the world we live in, what you're led to believe, like these precious metals have value because they're scarce, is absolutely not true. We live in a world where things have value because people believe that they have value. We live in a world where gold is more expensive than platinum because people like it more. And they don't like it more because they've researched and realized that it's more scarce or less scarce, or that it makes better jewelry or anything else of that nature. They like it more and they buy it more because the TV tells them to, or because their investment whatever tells them to. People don't actually think. And that's what I'm trying to illustrate, is something as simple as money, as simple as what's more valuable than what, and what should you be investing in if you want to turn a profit. People don't even think about that. So that should give you an idea of the sort of world that we live in. And I mean, the numbers don't lie, guys. I'm not making this stuff up. It's all right here. You just have to be willing to look at it and think about it and try and make sense of it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do. And a lot of people, they really don't like me because I'm doing it so well. And I'm sharing it with you guys, not because I want you guys to send me money, or because I want you to buy my products, or because I'm not advertising platinum. I'm not saying you guys should all go buy platinum right now, and I'm the platinum police, or I'm the guy on the TV telling you the platinum's gonna go up in price. No, that's not what I'm saying. And if that's what you think, then you totally missed the point. So good luck, and I think